Well, all right. Good morning. Good evening. Good afternoon. Let me take this thing down because that is the radio broadcast. I'm getting ready to pop it down, but anyway, we'll just leave it there for right now. Should look like I'm about ready to pop it totally off the wall, and that ought not to be. I probably should start the video back over again, but since we're here, we're here. But anyway, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube, Pastor Dowell. Well, we see that there's a lot going on in the news today. Not only COVID-19 and all the other stuff is going on with it, but we also see that there is a lot of people who have actually been on the wrong side of history. And I literally mean the wrong side of history. A lot of Americans are discovering the history that has been crammed down their throats and been taught in public school institutions, college institutions, are nothing but lies. Most of them political lies. Most of the people who are true to truth and love the truth for the sake of honoring the truth realize that we live in a life of fairy tales over here in the United States of America. Now, I want to say in my own personal defense that I am not the institution that has reared you in fairy tales. I didn't tell you that George Washington chopped down a cherry tree. I didn't tell you that Columbus discovered America. As a matter of fact, I'm not the author or originator of none of these lies. I didn't tell you that a rabbit lay eggs, and I didn't tell you that a fat white man is going to come down and go down every single chimney on the face of planet Earth, even though every house on the earth don't have chimneys. But I'm not the one that has reared you in these fairy tales and lies, and I'm not the one that told you that Jesus was white. There's no way in hell that Jesus could be white. Going back to the 1st century, in that geographical location over there, there's a very, very, very hot place. There's no way in hell. You'll be hard-pressed to even find a white person back there in that time. But, hey, I'm not the one that's whitewashed history. Not only is all that coming the truth, you got a lot of professional active, and I'm going to use the term active duty professionals, be it in the NFL, the NBA, who are actually coming out and telling you, the general public, who the real true Israelites are. And that just happened to be us melanated folks that was bought over here on slave ships. And, you know, the system of white supremacy and racism hates truth. They hate the fact that, you know, when we come to know who we are and we are telling the truth, the first thing that comes out is all these so-called establishments, all these so-called religions who have been masquerading and around as the people of the book, and they're really truly not. You know, like there's some people call themselves Jews in this country that tries to get you and the Christians to believe that they are the people of the book, when they clearly tell you themselves over in Israel that they have no genetic link whatsoever at all to Abraham. And if you go back to Genesis, the 10th chapter, and you start reading the Table of Nations, and you start looking behind every single one of those names in the Table of Nations, and you see that these people are Ashkenazis, they fit the seed of Japhet. Japhet went north. He was in the northern tribes. So if there's anybody that's really, truly Shemitic, is people like me that have melanin in their skin here in the United States of America, that according to the prophecies of the book has been scattered throughout all of diaspora or the world, just like the Bible says. So, you know, you've got people who are in very powerful positions. They own companies. They own businesses. They own sports talk shows. Now sports talk shows done got political. Max Kellerman done came on there and showed his true colors and stuff. And then they try to compare the Holocaust to the transatlantic slave trade, which there is no comparison whatsoever at all. And then people get mad when you bring up what Hitler said about who the real true Israelites were. If you go back and look in history, you'll find out that Hitler told the world that the real true Israelites were my people. And the world hates it. Why? Well, it's the lie that binds. It's the truth that sets free. And as long as you tell the lie, that means there's a certain institution, there's a certain people that is going to continue to remain in power, and their power is going to continue to keep permeating from generation to generation. But however, if the lie is exposed and the truth is rising to the top, that means that's the end of the game right there, game over. And when Yah's people start to rise up, that means the devil people start to come back down. Because remember what Satan said to Jesus, Yahshua. He said, if you bow down and serve me, I will give you the kingdoms of this world. Now you ask yourself, who owns all the kingdom of this world and who is ruling this world right now? Now you know who bowed down. Well, if you go over and read Revelations 2:9 and Revelations 3:9, my people don't say that they're Jews. Deshaun Jackson is not claiming to be Jews. He's claiming to be an Israelite. Carmelo Anthony is not claiming to be Jews. He's making claims and laying claims to be an Israelite. I have been preaching and teaching Israelite doctrine for over 20 years. And Kabir Bajabeel-Million, Green Bay Packers Hall of Fame's up there in Hobart, Wisconsin. Green Bay, Wisconsin. He don't claim to be a Jew. He clearly let you know who he is, a Hebrew Israelite. As well as Daniel Muir, who played for Indianapolis Colts, and Rob Mathis, who's definitely is going to have his number retired this year in the Colts Ring of Honor. One of the baddest defensive linemen that there is. They're part of the Straightway Truth Ministries. And you've got to ask yourself, what is it about these men, these intelligent, successful men? What is it about them that they're over here in following Straightway? Because we are Israelites. We believe in keeping the commandments of the Most High Yah, contrary to popular belief. We do. We believe in living set apart and living holy and actually preparing places for our people. And our people could be not only just the melanated people, but strangers who have joined themselves to us, and they themselves have become Israelites. And I know that there are many, many doctrines out there that will dissent against that, but the truth will set you free. So now the news media, Max Kellerman, and all these other people who believe that they have been masquerading around as the people of the book, you find out that they're not the people of the book. You see, being an Israeli has nothing to do with being an Israelite. Do y'all remember when Moses took his hand and he stuck it into his cloak and he brought it back out and it was white as snow? And then he put his hand right back into his cloak again and it came out like it's the rest of his skin. What color skin was that? If you want to know what color skin that was, all you have to do is just go back and look at the hieroglyphics that is painted on the Egyptians' tombs, on the Egyptians' pyramids on the inside. It clearly tells you. The problem is that we've got a people that has whitewashed history that are upset now that the truth is coming out. And they want you to look at the modern day Egyptians who have been whitewashed by Alexander the Greek when the Greeks came down and started conquering all the known world on this side, on that side of the globe. It's just sad that people get so upset when the lie can no longer be believed as truth. And then people start passionately telling you what the truth is. Now, if it wasn't important, then why did people spend so much time, energy, and effort making people dumb, dormant, docile, demoralized, and demonized, and dumbing them down to an unprecedented level to where they can't even have the ability to exercise self-autonomy at any given time? It's called lies, flat out. What is the problem when the truth comes out that people come out with this visceral attitude and this hatred, and they act like that they literally have had a dagger put through their heart? But hey, you know what? You got all these slogans out there. Black lives matter. All lives matters. But you know what? I got a slogan too. I wonder what happened to all lives mattering all the way up from 1619 to 2020. I wonder what happened to all lives matter. Because, you know, I tell painful truths. Like, you know, Thomas Jefferson, we hold these truths to be self-evidence that all men are created equal and they are endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights. So that is the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Well, at that time, my people were enslaved by an institution. As a matter of fact, the very people that they were enslaved by, the Bible says that this would be a nation of fierce countenance that would have no regard to the young or the old. Use my people for studs, mandingos, black women for whores and wenches. And Thomas Jefferson, boy, 14-year-old girl, Sally Henny, huh? Man, he loved him some black women, didn't he? You see, these are painful stuff that is going on, and it's a reality, and it's hard for people to look at today. It's very, very hard for them to look at, and it's very painful for them to look at because they want us to continue to believe the lies that are going on today. And every single time that somebody of a melanated skin comes out or black skin comes out and tell the truth, the first thing they do is try to lynch them, give them a political lynching out there and get them to try to recant. Now, Colin Kaepernick has been on the right side of history from the very beginning. And you can see the difference. Colin Kaepernick was not willing to compromise, and he was protesting police brutality, but the president of the United States of America tried to turn it around and said that he's against the military. And that could be nothing further from the truth. He never said that. As a matter of fact, he had the support of I think is a special forces guy by the name of Boyer. But nevertheless, the news media and the president spun the story to demonize Colin Kaepernick. And now guess what? His story is rising to the top of the whole sole purpose and reason why that he was protesting. Now, here we are amidst of George Floyd. And the whole entire world, not just in every major city in the United States of America, both black and white, red, yellow, blue, purple, green, and brown, people are standing against a system or something wrong. They can tell it, but it's went worldwide. It's viral worldwide. South Africa, England, Australia, Philippines, Colombia. It's worldwide that these protests are going on. There's a system that has been in place that has been binding the system, and the majority of them on their flags have eagles. And if you understood what the Bible says about eagles and a representation of it, Rome, you would begin to have your eyes wide open. You know, people need to start to listen to folks like myself. I can't say all the Israelites because most people are motivated by racial tensions and injustice and stuff that it blinds them to being able to get the facts out there so people can learn the truth and know the truth, and the truth that they will learn and they will know will begin to set them free. So amidst the martyrdom of George Floyd, there's been a Pandora's box has been opened. And I'm so glad that it is open because it is time. I'm beginning to wonder and think for myself that we are literally on the prefaces or right at the door of Matthew 24, where we're getting ready to start the Great Tribulation, because we got up on this earth distress of nations with perplexity. And we see the seas and the waves raging and warring. All the time we see it. So, you know, there's a lot and there's much to be desired in this daytime and hour we're living in. But if I was Deshaun Jackson, I would have never recanted. But if you want to keep on playing football and you want to go and keep on making your millions, then I can understand why you recanted. But Colin Kaepernick never did sell out his principles, not one bit, for what he believed in. And as a result, he's going to be an iconic, known person throughout the annals and histories of time, as long as this world is still permitted to be, because soon that Yahshua HaMashiach, that Jesus Christ, that black man with an afro, if you read about him in Revelation chapter 1 and chapter 2, you read about him in Daniel chapter 7 and 9, he clearly tells you what the Ancient of Days look like. You're going to find out real quick, fast, in a hurry. And if you go to the Torah, you read about Gehazi, you go read about Naaman and a lot of these other people, you'll find out that there's a certain race of people, or that's what they call them today, because Johann Blumenbach back in the 1600s started defining people by Caucasoid, Mongoloid, and Negro, rather than actually defining them about what the Bible says, which is nations, or what nationality are you. But you'll find out there's been a certain people that, according to the Bible, the Holy Bible, the King James Version of the Bible, said that they have been cursed with a certain color of skin. Go find out what that means. And then find out if you had the okie doke poured on you. Because you know what? I'm not going to let them get political on me. Now let's finish this off with Sports Illustrated, who has been all over the ministry of straightway. Sports Illustrated is glorying in their first Transformer, making and gracing the cover of the swimsuit issue. And that's something to be proud of. Isn't that something? I'll tell you, what an amazing day, time, and hour we find ourselves in. You want to learn more. You want to know more without me being censored or something like that. Go to my Patreon account down there and become a patron and stuff, and then get the real skinny of the truth. You don't have to worry about my comments being taken down, or worry about the videos being demonetized. Don't have to worry about them not suitable, or not all of a sudden they just disappearing out of the wild blue yonder. No. They're sticking over there. So anyway, I hope I said something to stimulate thought. Deshaun Jackson, get back on the right side of history and keep standing for that truth and tell that truth, even if it means your life. You just heard the truth and the truth straight way. It's Pastor Dowell. Israel.